All right, back in the basement again for another day of training. I like these videos. You guys seem to like them too. I appreciate that because they're really easy to do. Now today is technically, when I look at my programming, it's the week before the max effort weeks, but what's been happening is they've been putting deadlifts off of that week. So I have max effort deadlifts today, then next week I'll have max effort squats and bench. It's nice that it breaks it up, especially for me who carries a lot of fatigue in their deadlifts. Now I'm just getting warmed up. I'm also watching here the Arnold documentary on Netflix. I'm on part 3, which is the political part. Not as interesting as the first 2, obviously, but still it's interesting enough for me to just kind of watch as I warm up and kill that 10 to 15 minutes of riding the bike or stretching or whatever the case may be. I'll put on the music to get ready to lift, but I think I have to work up to a max effort set of like 4 on deadlifts today. Not going to really try to push it over what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to play a little bit conservative. If I come in at an 8 or a 9, that'll be a win. If I'm at a 10 or if I fail, not so much of a win, but we'll see what we get to in just a second. All right, so top set did 500, wanted a nice even number, did it for 4. The first rep felt kind of rough, but the other 3 felt pretty good. I rated it at a 7, so again, I'm okay with that. Deadlifts have been something that have wrecked me, and one of the things that I'm really trying to do, especially this training cycle leading up to nationals, is I'm not trying to go off of previous numbers. So I didn't have the best meet last meet, especially when it came to deadlifts. So this meet, or this prep, I'm basing my numbers off of where I was. So I have my training max or my estimated 1 rep max set pretty low. I'm going to continue to do that. Hopefully over the next couple of weeks, I continue to kind of just recover, not really carry as much fatigue as I typically do in deadlifts, and it's going to work out for the end. But again, I'm setting my expectations. I don't want to say lower. I just want to say accurately, right? I don't want to think because my all-time best deadlift is XYZ, that that's the number I'm going to be training off of or aiming for. I'm going to take what's there. So now I have some back off sets, put it into the app. What happens is you just put in, the weight, what your RPE was. It's going to calculate the back offs based off of that. It's going to ask me if I wanted to update my training max. I do not want to do that. Again, I'm going to take what's there. And also a lot of this is RPE based anyway, so it doesn't really matter a ton because it'll adjust if it's too high, too low, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to finish off my back ups, not going to show it, and then move into box squats. All right, so box squats are done. 2 sets of 10 with 335, up 20 pounds from last week, and the RPE just jumped from like 6 to 7. Perfect, felt really good. And I've really been liking box squats for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's reinforcing me to sit back more. So that's one of the things I've been working on to help with my depth. I find when I'm not thinking of that cue, what happens is I tend to tilt forward more, which throws off my bar path, which then also elevates my hip some in the hole, which is something that I have a problem with. So by sitting back, I find I'm able to keep a much better bar path. And hopefully by doing these sets of 10, it's really engraving that movement pattern. Another thing I really like is with the box itself, because you can set it to the height, that's going to make sure that you hit where you need to hit. So I have it at a height that would be perfect for me, that's going to pass in depth, which I like. So again, reinforcing those good movement patterns. I do those enough. When I take the box out, I still think the same cues, I still think that same movement pattern, and I'm going to hit depth every time. Now, a lot of people say box squats, only good for equipped lifting. You shouldn't be sitting back or whatever. And when it comes to cues, you have to find out what works best for you. So some people like to cue knees forward, knees out, sit back, sit down, sit in between, open up the taint, whatever your preference is, you have to find the cue that clicks with you. And for me right now, sitting back or just hinging first has been very helpful in terms of what my squat looks like. Got to continue to reinforce that and build up strength, but I'm going to continue to do that. What I'm not going to continue to do, however, is the rest of this program. I've been down here for about an hour and a half, a little bit long, considering I've only really done 2 exercises, but heavier deadlifts, heavier squats. I need the rest, recuperation. I need to get back to work. And unfortunately, right in the middle of my training between deadlifts and squats, we've been having an issue here with a mangy fox living under our front porch. So my wife was like, hey, there's this fox, it's back, you got to get rid of it. Went upstairs, went outside in my deadlift slippers, grabbed a baseball bat, scared it down the street into the woods. Hopefully it's not going to come back. It probably will. I'm going to continue to do that. Rhode Island DEM, come do your job, take care of this mangy ass fox under my thing so I can get to my deadlifts and squats. But that being said, I'm just going to do some GHRs and then skip the split-legged squats and the ab work. Call it a day. Big win for me. Very happy, very nice. Thanks for watching as always. In the meantime, stay big.